Good morning out of South Africa, Cryptonauts. We're looking at Bitcoin, as always, on the 4 hourly. This is Bitfinex data. So effectively what we had was this falling wedge, came down and tagged these levels of support that were previously highlighted. So in a falling wedge pattern like this, you usually have three drives on the trend line before breakout. Sometimes you could have four. I was potentially expecting another tag onto these levels, but once you run into, let me just take this off for you guys quickly. Once you run into a fib level, especially a 61.8 retracement, as such off this range, as you can see, 61.8 on the bottom of this falling wedge pattern. It's always a good position to take a trade in, and then a trailing stop or whatever you prefer. And then once we've had breakdown, this was covered, breakout. This was covered quite extensively in my private group and popped to the top side. And here you see on the 58,500 region, the previous all-time high before this one. Sorry, just get this right. Yeah, this is 58, 300, 400, somewhere around there. So if I delve into the hourly, let's just quickly see how this precipitated. It was beautiful structure all around. So on the other side of a trend line, you effectively, okay, that was a beautiful trend line break. You could also have taken along there with a stop, potentially, once you start recognizing horizontal levels of support and that kind of thing. Yeah, at the 54, resistance and support. So we found support, okay, broke out, came close to, okay, off this range. It was a 38.2 at 54.06. Could have had a stop just below it. So this ran now and it broke cleanly above this previous all-time high, which is a very significant level as well. And as you can see, as it broke on the hourly, it came back down, tested it 3 times. Also, a bit of 3 lower drives and then a new high. As you can see here, these patterns are very similar. 3 lower drives, 4th stab, bang. So, okay, now we're above a very significant level. You could potentially, if you're a bull, take another long shot, risk to these kind of levels down here. But I do think effectively, from structural point of view, you need to be cognizant of the fact that this could be left shoulder, inverted left shoulder, inverted head. So we could potentially come back down and tag these levels down to say 54, maybe a bit less, in line with these levels over here. So 53, 2, 53, 1, somewhere around there. So you could potentially expect this. Let's see what she's doing. Oh, now, like, it's a very small, very fast time frame. So I usually like making decisions based on what the 4 hourly is doing. And if you look at the 4 hourly, what we always want are W's. This is a nice W formation in RSI, pointing to the top. And W's for the win. So once you break, always when you break a horizontal level like that in the form of a W, that is a buy signal. It gets a bit high in the range, I will admit, especially on 4 hourly. So if you delve too deep, delve into a bigger time frame, like the daily, Here we are well into the bullish control zone, and everything's pointing up again. This was a W if you look at it right there. So let's highlight this for you guys as well. Right on that trend line. And a vertical line to see where price action took. Yeah, this was pretty powerful buy signal right up in these parts. Bang. Right. So off we go to the races, hopefully, and we can potentially still eyeball these targets up here in the 73s. I might just do another fib study in my spare time and see what I can come up with. But bullish sentiment all around, I would think. What are we doing on the weekly? Oof. I'm just going to take this off. Yeah, it does look like momentum wants to turn to the upside. So we could, at the end of this week, hopefully close above there and have a massive rally up to the top, potentially up into the 80s, 92,000. That's another level. So if you're also benefiting from this BNB is pumping hard, that was covered in, I think, my previous video. Come on. Go to daily. Yeah, this is respecting this GAN level. And you've got nice bullish continuation all around. RSI looking good. I'll quickly delve into ADA. Bear with me for a second. ADA USD. It looks like a very similar pattern. It sort of wants to consolidate. You've got a low, a higher low, and you can potentially surmise that we have some form of excuse me. That's a bullish continuation pattern right there. And I think the alts are going to benefit very well from this. So I'm just going to quickly scroll down my watch list. I want to go down. Everyone's calling for $2,500 Ethereum. And I've seen some calls for 10K Ethereum. So again, we're looking for W's. Ethereum US dollar and price action. This would be a monster honking W right there, around about the $1,930 mark. So a clean break above there, closing on 4 hourly and daily. That's going to send this puppy to the moon. In a previous video with Litcoin Euro, I'm just finding that chart, did a very similar study. Was it this one? Bear with me from, whoa, this is really busy. I think it may have been this one. No. Let's start a clean measurement of this range. Would it have been here? Would it have been this range? Okay. I can't find the particular chart now. But again, you've got a bullish continuation. It's not like price wants to break down or anything. It is moving in with upward momentum. I did mention taking a stab somewhere below 150, and I think the other level at was 130, 135, somewhere around there, maybe around these parts. So let's just ignore these fibs. And well, 150, bear with me for a moment. Horizontal ray. So let's just call it, yeah. And bang, right up in the center of this buy zone. So we came down, obviously respected a trend line as well in the process. If you got in there, I know someone just had an order working there and got in at 148. Congratulations. That was a very epic take for a novice, or shall we say, a natural ninja. And my sentiment regarding this is a big W in price action. So that was great accumulation. I'm going to say it close above 185. Yeah, 185, 186. That's going to result in monster momentum. Obviously, a clean break above run about, I'd say let's delve into this. Okay, so I want this to close 4 hourly above 189. My apologies. And then 4 hourly closure above 202 euro. That's so next accumulation, and then bang, Bob's your uncle. So let's quickly go into this on weekly and look at where these levels lie again, for all time's sake. I'm a big fan of Litcoin. Switch my magnet on, this irritating thing. Right. 50% GAN level, showing quite a significant amount of resistance. So we've broken through that. Well, tested the top side. We got slapped down with a BTC correction. This is weekly scale. I think we do have bullish momentum. It still needs to confirm on weekly, but on daily, this is looking pretty sweet. Let's go 4 hourly. Can we expect a bit of a retrace? Yeah, it might consolidate in this range for a bit. But let's go see these top side targets. Okay. Right. I really want to see it clear 223 major resistance. And then we've got 349 up in here. That's targets. Okay. 278, 311, and 349 are your major resistance levels. Your, I'd say 1618 extension and your 2618 extension would be major profit picking zones. You're looking at 553 euro and then 883 coming down. Let's try 1,212 euro and then possibly 1,560 euro potentially. Depends on how this asset wants to, or which frequencies this asset respects. So let's try a different measurement quickly. Do another fib, clicking on the low here. Let's just try measuring a smaller frequency and then reversing this guy. Settings. Okay. That's on weekly. See if I can find something that is quite significant. Okay, so we've hovered around the 150 mark quite significantly. So potentially 228 again, 356. These aren't completely different to the previous levels I just gauged with the macro fib study. So yeah, short-term target 189, closure above there, closure above 202 euro on 4 hourly and daily scale. That's going to be monstrously momentous and have some great momentum. monocoin Bitcoin. If you like trading on Shitrix. So I want this one to come down to about 3030 Satoshi range. Hopefully we can form some nice structure on this relative strength index and find a bottom. And historically, monocoin runs, if Bitcoin goes into hyperbolic, it likes to chase that up hyperbolic spike. So in Bitcoin terms, you do gains on gains on gains exponentially. So that's pretty cool. Knew about for some while. This wait, I want to actually USD. I got in about these parts, which was late. I mean, I usually want to get around in on these parts, but I've got some nice development. This is basically your Chinese Ethereum. So that's running away nicely. Where's my Energy Web token? Energy Web, here we go. Got in around about the $7 mark. Yeah, that's gone and doubled. So essentially what you want to do, if you make 100% gains in your investment, you sell 50% of it, so you get your initial inset capital back, and then you're sitting on a risk-free position. That's the safest way to do it. But guys, this is crypto, so I'm not going to tell you to sell off in a 10x, but it's possible to do it. One that popped up this week was Geo. See if this can come back down and potentially tag. Let's reverse this. Settings. So the key with crypto is, or any asset for that matter, is you don't want to chase a pump. You don't want to buy into this. You want to look for a breakout level. So if you want to work some orders around about 61.8% retracement level in this range at about 1092 Satoshi. This is Shitrix data, or 796 or 621 Satoshis. You can see how quite significant these levels are in terms of that nice rounded bottom W bang on the breakout. This thing just sent it. So RSI on the daily looks a bit as though it wants to recover. So does it on the 4 hourly. So if you're lucky, you can get into Geo round about these parts. You really don't want to lose this this low here, and that's a massive amount of Satoshis to risk to. But geez, look at the upside on this puppy. I mean, geez, look at these gaps. Okay, so there's a gap theory that 91% of the time that a gap will be closed. So you can not take my word for it. There's another gap over there. Might want to consider these as, profit picking levels. 1,259 Satoshi currently. I mean, if you got in around about 800 Satoshi mark, what's that in terms of percentage? And this is BTC gain. So that's 606% on that level. And that's 915% on that level in BTC terms. So if BTC still goes running higher, you're sitting with a nice, there's another gap over here, a monstrous gap actually. And that's 4,000. I might take this off. 4,650% odd. So, yeah, this is a trend reversal candle, as you can see. Monstrous buying going on in here. So wait for it to consolidate. If you like, you can come back down, maybe a Wyckoff check around these levels. This is just my thoughts. It's not financial advice whatsoever. Again, looking at IOC, nice breakout over here, measured this range. We're currently below the 61.8% retracement level, so it's technically in an accumulation zone. So don't throw the kitchen sink at this yet. Wait for it to start turning up and potentially start working orders around here, around these parts. Be nice to see it come back down here. 200, what's that? 51 Satoshi. Come on, this thing's dirt cheap. And you can see it's a nice support zone as well. Let's see if it wants to turn on the low time frames. Wow, that's a lot of consolidation. Hourly, what are you doing right there? Yeah, still consolidating. See how significant this 61.8% level is. Okay. I'm just winging this, guys. I didn't do a. Let's see what ChainLink's up to. Okay, so ChainLink on the 4-hourly in BTC terms. Falling wedge. I generally like to resolve bullishly. I don't know how long this is going to continue for. It does look like it's a bit elongated in its process coming down here. So it's still a matter of consolidation. Keep an eye on RSI. You want it to do a nice upswing. See what it's doing on 4-hourly. Yeah, potentially it could make a swing for things here. I wouldn't be averse to taking a stab at this and then potentially risking to round about here. What's that in terms of percentage? Come on. Yeah, 14% risk. That's not particularly a bad option, but be cognizant of the, be cognizant of the volatility. I mean, gets mental around these parts. Right. LTC, BTC, Litecoin, and Bitcoin terms. This is, in my opinion, very, very low. It's broken below an established trading range based on some Fibonacci levels, which I had in mind. And this is a previous all-time low. Is it an all-time low? No, well, it's a previous low off a previous range around about, what's that, 300,000 Satoshi. So we could potentially expect it to come back down. So in my universe, I would see this as accumulation zone, hoping for an upswing. So if you just take a small stab at this, maybe 1% now, if it comes back to these levels, maybe another 1%. And then once this thing starts kicking up against BTC, that's when you're going to see those fantastic gains we were talking about in, these kinds of conversations. There are many ways to do your fibs. As you can see, this is a trend-based Fibonacci extension. And should this be in effect, your 22618 is a massive sell level. So if we tag the 887 euro level, expect some consolidation around those parts. And also, it's not a bad place to start taking profits. Ultimate win would be around 1,474. But who knows how far these things are going. I mean, if that study I saw on Ethereum, where they're talking about 10,000 US, I'm going to have to adjust my Fibonacci extension settings. Okay, all right. There are some high levels which I need to edit into it or program, which I'm going to start taking a look at closely, depending on where Ethereum, which is essentially the second biggest, first biggest altcoin, second biggest cryptocurrency, where that wants to go. Yeah, I think I'm going to wrap it up. Yeah, I don't have anything. SysCoin. This one's for Pistol Pete the Yank. How you doing, buddy? Shout out. Let's have a look at it. Yeah, right. Chart. I mean, Pete, where did you come in? I think it was around these parts. I remember I had a call from you. And I think you're sitting pretty, son. Tron's rallying, I think with BTT, BitTorrent. Oh, that was a one Satoshi trade. I've always wanted to do a one Satoshi trade. Thanks, Full Bull. That was a heads up from one of the guys in my group. So we got in literally at one Satoshi. And then effectively what this does, once every Satoshi it ticks up, we're making 100% in gain. So that's top job, lad. Thanks a million. Yeah, okay. I'm going to leave it at that. I think this recording's been going on for quite some time, but look at the nice on balance volume here on daily. So that's cool. Actually, my cousin gave me some flack for, I think, getting hold of this. I can't remember when, end of last year sometime. Might have been around these parts. Yeah, on Facebook. And up yours, cousin. Have fun out there, guys. It's a great day. Greetings out of South Africa, wherever you are in the universe. Stay blessed, stay agile, keep it frosty, stay cool, and much love and prosperity for all of you out there.